5:01, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to work. So we'll call our Cleburne County Commission Court to order. I want to welcome everyone. Thank you all for being here. We may have a few folks coming in. Roll call. Ms. Cobb.
Here.
Mr. Owen.
Here.
Mr. Hendricks.
Here.
Mr. Hill.
Here.
We do have a quorum. This time we'll pledge allegiance to the flag. Mr. Hill, I think if you don't mind saying the flag. Salute, pledge, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord, for another beautiful day you've given us, and we thank you so much for your many blessings. And I ask, Father, that you be with us tonight, and any decision we make will be pleasing to you. In Christ's name I ask. Amen.
Amen.
We were waiting on a few folks that may show up to speak. There's been a resolution to add to the consent agenda. Resolution presented as adoption 7. I will consider entertain a motion to add that to the consent agenda. Most of you have that document. Have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion about it?
What are you talking about?
But it is 14, I think it should be number 14, I should think it's wrong.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right, so I had the wrong number on it.
we went through this, our regular one, if you'll look, and the number, we already have a 7.
Okay.
So I think that needs to be number 14.
But you would all need to sign off on it if you add it. So who made the original motion?
I did.
Who's the second? Second. Any discussion concerning this other than what we changing the number to 14, right? Consent agenda. All in favor of adding that to the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Y'all will need to initial.
Yeah, so we're already signed it.
Jumping ahead.
Yeah.
You said you're ready to roll this thing.
I am ready to roll. I'm trying to be due diligence. So it's on there, right? And everybody's initially.
Yes.
Okay.
But we did need to vote on it.
All right. But we haven't got to that yet. So, but it will be on the consent agenda. And then we will have a new business resolution that needs to be considered to be added to new business. And I'm going to let Mr. Odom, if he doesn't mind, to read it because this has been his baby and he's an expert on this. So I'll let him.
Well, I'll just read the title right now for your decision whether you want to add it. It's a resolution authorizing Cleburne County to join the state of Alabama and other local governments as participants in current and future opioid settlements. This is related to about 4 new settlements that have come in from Allergan, CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens. So all of those need to be approved, and we've got to get those signed, I believe, by March 7th is the deadline. We've got to get those in, but the settlements start to fall apart. And this also authorizes any future ones that come in that the chairman will be able to sign those as they come once I've reviewed them.
I make a motion to add it.
I second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. It'll be E on new business. All right, we had some citizens, or we had some folks coming from Randolph County to talk about, I think, animal control, and they're not here yet. We'll just hold that for a little bit. I will move on to 3 there, officials and board members. I do have Mr. Adam Downs here of the county coroner would like to speak to you. Mr. Downs, if you want to come up.
All right. How are y'all today?
Good.
I just wanted to let y'all know, back in December, our Corners Association sent out a mass email to all the corners that are part of the association about a grant that was being given from the National Network of Public Health Institutes. This is for an expanded infrastructure grant, helps with stuff like computers, iPads, printers, cameras, software networks, stuff like that. I applied for the grant and did receive a $7,000 grant through this. Me and Lisa had been talking about it, and just wanted to let y'all know what it is. It's one of those grants to where you purchase everything and then they reimburse you. It goes now through July the 31st, so I got from February the 1st to July the 31st to make my purchases. What I'm looking to get is, I'm looking into a software program to where when we're out in the field, we can take down our notes of what we need to do and come back and then put this into a computer-based program. Whether I really had rather not have a database, I'd like to have an app-based type software if I could. That way we don't have to have direct connection to internet on everything, but this will allow me to be able to email all of my reports and everything that I have to send to the crime labs, to toxicologies for any tox reports or anything that we need there. I would like to have a couple of iPads out of if we could, one for each corner vehicle, and then maybe a printer and possibly a computer if we got the money to do it, if we don't go over the $7,000 budget to go in the morgue down there. So we can have everything set up as a hub there where I can go in and print what I need. Right now, I kind of print what I need from the funeral home or from the house, wherever I'm at. But
I think we can piggyback also off the library, you know, as far as having your Wi-Fi set up right there. If we had, it's only a $75 one charge, I think, to set that thing up on the back, and that would be great.
have it set, yeah. And, but just wanted to kind of keep y'all up to speed on that. This is all in part to do with trying to stay ahead of opioids, the front runner on that, trying to keep all that spearheaded. Toxicology reports. Right now with me on a toxicology report, I'm about 3 months out. If there's any fentanyl involved, you're looking at, and I don't know why this is, but if there's any type of fentanyl detected in a toxicology report, you're looking about 9 to 10 months before you get that final report. So with this, hopefully this is speeding that process up. I know I was one of, I think, 8 counties in Cleburne County, or 8 corners in Alabama that applied for it and did get it. It was up to a $20,000 grant. I couldn't push the envelope much more than 7,000 of what I thought I might need, but we did apply to get it.
So, talking with Lisa, what do we need to do? Do we need to, so he can go ahead and purchase this stuff and then we get reimbursed, correct?
That's right, and it's the paperwork that it entails, will actually do like an ACH, an actual EFT to get us the money back, so I think it's gonna be a pretty quick process. It seems like it's gonna be pretty simple. It will look like he's overspent in his budget, but then the money will come right back in there.
So that's the thing I wanted y'all to know. It's gonna look like
Change
we.
anything on that.
That's what I'm saying, do we need to do anything to make sure he's got the money to spend to be reimbursed? It's covered in his
It's
budget?
fine, right.
Okay, okay.
Y'all got any questions for me?
Yeah, and then I guess the way we got it set up now with the little closet and everything, we start bringing all our records together. Maybe
Yes,
reach
I
out to
got
some of the
every-
corners.
Everything that I have of my records, I try to keep, just depending on where I'm gonna be when I get a phone call. I try to keep the previous 2 months with me. But every corner call that I've had from day one up until 2 months ago, I've got in the morgue in the filing cabinet back there. I've got some that came from Ben, I need to get those moved down to the morgue. I've actually, I had, Mr. Estes, y'all remember when he was the coroner years ago? His daughter actually came to me and told me that she had all his records from that 4-year stint that he was coroner. They're supposed to be getting me those. I'm gonna put all that there in the morgue. But thank y'all for what we did do to the morgue. It has been a huge blessing down there, being able to have that.
The biggest thing I'd like to, maybe we can't do it this year, maybe next year we put in there to take that old awning down and move the poles out about 2 feet and then also go up about, I think we're gonna go up like about 14 inches. And that way an ambulance can back in.
The way it's set up right now, the ambulance that I'm driving can get right there, but if EMS were to come in with the bigger box truck, they might hit that on, but,
Well, we just need, what I wanna do is try to get it to that other door, so when you're up there, you're not in the weather.
right.
It's just all we need, but that crap that's up there now, and we're gonna take, where we built the fence, we're gonna add some wood there and put a privacy fence between the library in front of the board, so when you back in, you know, people stand there with their mouth on open.
Yeah, and there has been times that people been sitting on the patio, but had to do what we had to do, so. Y'all have any questions for me on the grant? As far as I know, that's the first grant corner office has ever received, so we appreciate it.
Pretty good.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
John, you got anything? Mike Copeland, ladies and gentlemen, the Cleburne County Water Authority.
I just wanted to update y'all a little bit some things we actually did in the county today. We had a closeout meeting for the CDBG project that we done last year. The CDBG will be closed soon. In doing that, there's an opportunity to apply for the next CDBG. It has to be closed out by the end of March in order to apply again, so we've got the dates right to do that. It's the county that needs the CDBG, and the water department apply again for the CDBG. It is a competitive grant, you put it in, and you may get it, you may not. But unless you all were to use it, the water department will use it again.
When do you need to know something?
This will be closed out by the end of March, and April you start applying.
So we probably need to look and decide if there's something that's more important in our eyes, I don't mean any disrespect.
Right, I understand. That's what I was basically asking. If you're not, we need to use it at the time, just it needs to happen in a certain time frame.
Any questions?
One more thing, I'll give y'all copies of this. The ARPA project, I told y'all we were waiting on approval to actually bid. We did get the approval. These are the ads. Y'all see in the bottom of the newspapers, they have their own rules, so this is running papers that are normally not ran in. But this ad actually came out today. So the project is for bid now. That ad came out in all those papers listed on the bottom there today. That's where they want those certain state papers, so that's according to the ACCA. Also, if you notice this, just there's no confusion, the ARPA money that's county money. The ACCA lady, Kate Jessup, wanted it all in the water authority's name. There's a memorandum of understanding that we're responsible for it, and that money comes to y'all. But she wanted the project itself and the bids to be put in the water authority name. So the reason that's set up, if y'all see that way, is that's what they require us to do. If any are interested, you don't have to do it, but you're welcome to. The bid opening will be Wednesday, the 15th at 11 o'clock at our office. That gives them the right time frame, and we picked 11 just in case anything came in the mail that day. So we'll open bids at 11. At 11 on the 15th. Really, that's it. All I really need to know now is if you ever don't want to use the CDBG, we'll apply again. We'll sort of push this through today so we make the time frame so we could reapply.
Resolution on the table. I said next month we need to put a resolution on the table. So it's to put it together.
And if it would not rush y'all, but I need to draw a project up, so if y'all actually were to decide beforehand that y'all will not be using it, that will apply, so we need to be getting all that stuff together.
Can you not use the list you came up with last year, just run down the list, or something changed?
The CDBG is more restrictive. It's got to be low money income, existing houses, their qualifications are a little bit tighter, so it's got to fit just exactly right in their criteria to even qualify.
You think you have that though, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, it could be some renewals in some places, I don't know that we have it for new construction, but there's some old ones that could be renewed.
We have plenty of areas that needs it, that will fit that criteria.
We do.
Well,
I just need to get all that together, like I said, I'm not rushing you, but it'll take a little time to get all that stuff together, what they require in order to make it happen.
you think you might have something ready for the work session?
Yes.
Okay. Is that good?
Is that nice enough for you?
Yes, sir, I can do that, if y'all are in agreement.
So work
I think
session
we'll-
call on the 6th?
We are.
I can be putting that together, there's just a fair amount to put together.
Our meeting's not gonna fall till the 20th, so.
Yeah, but with the work session, it's fine.
Work session.
But he needs to do it before.
I can start on it if you're in agreement, I'll go ahead and start on that, I just needed to know we had that opportunity, so I can pull all that together.
But to apply, you have to do it by the April, right?
It's done in April, yes, sir.
Okay. So we got time.
We did, like I said, repeat myself, but we did do the final meeting today, so the time frame fell, where we ended by March, so we were eligible to apply in April.
Okay. You can try to bring something on the 6th at 3 o'clock. And,
I will.
all right.
I'll give you an idea what we can do with it. Like I said, now their qualifications it's pretty exact what it can be spent on, so it's gonna have to fit their thing, so, I can't just do anything. I gotta fit their guidelines. But there are places to do that. Any questions? Like I said, anyone can come to bid opens 15th or 11th.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Smith and Ms. Berry, right?
Yes.
Thank you. I know y'all come as an invitation to speak to the commission,
Yes.
and y'all from Randolph County?
Correct, and we apologize for being late. We
Yes.
kind of got lost. We didn't know exactly where we were going.
We appreciate you coming. I think Ms. Cobb said that you wanted to give us some information on your process in Randolph County and how it works.
Sure,
And,
yeah, and I'm
this
able
is-
to answer questions.
This is
if I have
the
any.
county commission, Mr. Owens, Mr. Hill, I think you know Ms. Cobb,
I
Mr.
so,
Hendricks,
he's my son,
and
met those two.
our county attorney and our county administrator, and Kristen.
Well, I've worked at the Randolph County Animal Shelter for 8 years. I've been the director of operations for about 5. We are a private, nonprofit shelter. We're a no-kill for space. We do not euthanize animals just to get a space put in. We work off a waiting list. We're 54% funded by our fundraisers and our donations. We get a small amount of money from tobacco tax. We get 10% of that tobacco tax a year, which is roughly about $45,000. And then we get $900 a month from the city, the Randolph County Commissioners, the county seat. And then anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 from our biggest municipality, Roanoke City. Like I said, we're private. We run off a board of 12, and Ms. Berry here is my board president. We're just basically here to answer any questions that y'all have, that we can help with y'all getting y'all's private shelter started.
We do get funding from some of the municipalities, like April said, but we carry our own insurance. They're not reliable for anything. We pay our own taxes, we do our own building. They really don't do anything besides contribute those amounts. The rest is on us.
Questions?
You follow under the state guidelines and everything with your shelter.
We are monitored by the state, because we do have euthanasia medicine in the facility. So we do have to, we're boarded by the Alabama Veterinary Medical Examiners. I'm a licensed euthanasia tech, and you do have to go to class, and you do have to be okay by them, basically, get your license through them to do that. But that's the only thing, pretty much, that they come and check on, and just to see how the facility looks. And
How long have y'all been in operation total?
the day of opening was October 2007. But it was like 20 years before that, before it actually ever got started.
Mr. Hendricks?
Who owns your building?
We own it. But it's an agreement that if something was to happen and we had to close our doors for 6 months, it reverts back, and I cannot remember, to be honest with you, if it's the city or the county. because that was done before my time, but it's one of them. But they, like she says, it's our building to them. Nothing, you know, the city's not is not liable for anything that happens at that building.
If you didn't get county and city participation, could you stay open?
Yes.
It helps though, and we give back more to the county than we probably get in, meaning that we are taking in a lot of the strays. We have started programs where we go speak to the public about the importance of spay and neuter. We also started a low-cost spay and neuter transport at our facility and a no-cost spay and neuter grant. So we're giving back to the communities probably more than the money that they're bringing in, honestly.
But now I can't say I wasn't there, but I'm sure the money's helped start from the counties getting that money in place to help get the organization off, the footing. And then once they proved to themselves, to the people, what kind of organization we were, that's when we had a lot of our main donors and our fundraisers and stuff. But like I said, I really can't speak for that because I wasn't there, but I'm sure that did help knowing that they had that coming in every month to begin with.
Any other questions?
I got one for Jason.
Yes.
By them giving them money every year, the city and the county, does that open up for liability?
It depends on the agreement between the shelter and the governmental bodies.
And y'all have contracts in place?
No, we had no written contracts.
Any other questions?
Well, one of the things that we spoke with, the municipality, city of Heflin is wanting to share the burden of building a facility here in the county, which, I just tried to explain to anybody, even though they're being a part of it, it's just like the way y'all are gonna be set up. It's a county-wide, it's not one gets the privilege over the other.
Yes.
It's all set up by the board, so the board will run how it works, how the animals come and go.
Yes.
And so, one of my questions is, if it is set up, it seems like the county, there's questions about the liability, and I guess this question goes to our attorney. Would it be better that we just go in with a memorandum of understanding and let the city of Heflin do the negotiating with the 501c?
Where is this proposed building going to be located?
Well, we've got two choices. One, we can put it on, where the property that we have is, I walked it today, we've been trying to flag it today to try to figure out, we really need to have the county's property survey because nobody knows where the county's property line is. And the county really don't have as much property that's not being used. If you look at where you come up to the backside of the mobile home that Lee put there, it could be that we're infringing already on that property, which they don't care. But it runs back, if you know where Tom Owens is going to the old landfill, there's a power pole there. And that's where his line is. That's sort of where I've got it, so it's sort of kicked this way back towards the backside of the jail. So if you go down in there's two options with our place, is we got where the new cemetery is. There's a pipe in the road right there. We walked that today. And where it comes out right at the line of that power pole that we're talking about. So we could have two entries into this. We could do one all the way from the backside of the county barn, all the way to that property, and also come down by the jail. And then there's a gate there where the landfill is, but there's a nice little knob right there behind all those cedar trees that lays real well to put the facility. Robbie's been working on it. We've talked with the city water authority. For what we've come up with since listening to y'all's problem, what we've come up with is two 1,000 gallon tanks where everything, he wants to pour cement curb and have it pumped every 3 to 4 months. We've already got a guy that says, don't worry about it getting pumped as long as I'm in the plumbing business, we'll pump it for free in our situation. So the 1,000 gallon tank will take on the waste, the dog waste, because they don't want to put that waste in the pipes in the lagoon. So we're just not going to have a sewer added to our bill. The only thing we'll have is city water coming from there. And then what it will do is it'll jump into another 1,000 gallon tank that will have a divider in there, and then we'll put in like about 400,000 feet of field line, and we'll keep the waste pumped out, and then it'll go into another septic system, and we won't even tie into the city sewer. But we've been,
We've been
well,
talking about what we would
coming to
change.
y'all's space has really showed us what we don't need to do. And you know, for another dime is trying to get the right ventilation. Karen Duckworth, you know, everybody in the room knows Karen. I met with her today, and she's just got all kinds, she works for these here, for PetSmart and all these people, and she sells stuff to these organizations. So she's talked with our lady now to go ahead.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, and she, I mean, I said, talk to her, and she, so much, I couldn't take it all in. As far as what she says, there's grants and stuff out there for training the techs. It's $250 a year, and they will train the techs on, you know, that we have that will be trained. And she says, depending on how many you might need to train, that there's a lot of things out there. She says, it's just amazing how much stuff is out there if you get the people and get a good group of people together.
So the county site, the only site you're discussing, is that what you're saying?
Well, no. The property that we want to do, we got one or two choices. If we don't just go in with a memorandum of understanding with the city, that piece of property will convert back, because the city is now stepping up to put as much money in as we are, the city of Heffernan.
But we're only talking about this one piece of property.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that
Whoever owns the property is who the memorandum needs to be with. To
Right.
address liability.
right, and so and that's what I'm trying to clear up right here. The mayor that we have now, it don't bother him. He says he'll do the memorandum of understanding with 501c, and we'll build it on city property, or he will need, he feels like we need at least 1.5 acres, because he wants to do a run in case they get a goat or a cow or a horse or something. And so we've got equipment sitting there, and we'll start clearing the property as soon as the weather dries off, and start moving all the trees and stuff. So we're sitting on ready, but it'll just be a little bit on, because what our ideal is to have the facility set up and stocked. So when these people come in, they're not under stress trying to figure out what they need to do. So, and as we move along, we'll be getting with you to find out.
We don't know it all happens.
So, and we like the idea of separating with a breezeway, and then talking with Karen today, she says you really need to have a side building, and we've looked at that, and maybe just put the building, a small side building, and put the cats in, make sure we keep them separate.
Yeah.
So it's really, you know, with y'all's facility, you had to build it as you go, so we just looked at so many things that we can do when you build it on the front end, that it's gonna make it more convenient. What we want it to be is sort of self-sustaining, that where it's not gonna be having to pay a couple $100 a month to throw all that waste away. Everything goes in there, and then the human waste will go into the other tank, but the dog waste will only go in one tank. Just some of the ideas, telling the commission what, I mean, we haven't been idle on, we've been working, trying to come up with our best plan.
Yeah, well, the guinea pigs and you learn from us, you know.
Yeah. And hey, I
And
tell
then when
you,
y'all get through, y'all come and up my shelter a little bit.
We appreciate you coming.
Thank y'all. Like I said, we're here to help and answer any questions that y'all need. Just feel free to hit us up. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
and I got one more question.
Yes.
On, like for you're licensed through the state, you're in control of all medication and everything.
Yes.
So if you wake up in the morning and say you're tired, and you don't want, but you've got a followed by state law of how you have to say I'm tired, right?
Yeah, I
So
can,
there
well, I
was
can
a-
quit at any time. I will take the only key to the safe, that my other tech has. It's got the euthanasia medicine in it. I will let the state know. The DEA, license will then be voided that day, and we would dispose of the medicines. He would come and dispose it with me on a day, and then until somebody else in that can get trained, or if the DEA allows to be the license in their name, they cannot have that medication on staff.
So we was talking about that today, so what I'm wanting to ask is can 2 people hold those licenses at the same facility? In case something like that happens, or something, God forbid something happens, would it be wise to have 2 people to hold that title? Because it's what, a week class or something like that, a couple of weeks? Something?
Yeah, well, it's a 2-day class to be certified.
That's what they said.
I don't know, to be honest with you, because we've never had it that way.
Okay.
Yes,
So if it's
I
a
don't
2-day
know.
class, it wouldn't be hard to
Yeah.
get somebody another tech. So y'all have 3 techs that work in the facility.
We got 2 now. 2.
now?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm the lead one because I've been there for the longest, and then, it reverts, and then if I was to leave, then the state would decide if they would want to, if she has enough practice or experience to be the lead CET. But yes, the shelter, or the Randolph County animal shelter board, the license is not under their name, it's under mine. So you know, anything that happens to that, I'm the
And
first
there's two
one.
main insurances that you talked about that you have. One is for in case somebody gets bit, they get the shots.
We got regular general liability, plan, and it covers like that, people coming in the facility and getting hurt, our building, and then of course we got the workman's comp insurance.
So, but if everybody comes in there and gets bit, there's an insurance that pays?
Yes.
Because if you have to go through those shots, it's like $4,000, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, all of our dogs also have rabies too, so
Yeah, we
we
did.
implemented that this year too, so they get rabies shots on intake.
Yeah,
So,
well, about a weekend, because we cannot give them, we have to wait till the vet gets there, but within a week that they're there, we're giving them rabies vaccinations, because by state law, they're supposed to have them anyway, so even if we technically don't own them at that time.
But y'all have the rabies shots on site?
No, and that's, veterinarian's the only one that can do that.
Okay. So you
We do our cargo distemper, deworming, and things, other medicines like that, but nothing else is licensed by the vet, he just has to bring it with him.
Okay.
I did want to ask you too, do y'all set up like clinics for people to be able to come in and neuter or spay?
We do have a low-cost spay neuter program that comes to our shelter. They pick them up once a month, and they set up the appointment through Alabama Spay and Neuter. They come to our facility. They do not get in our facility, you know, they don't bring them into our facility. They just meet in our parking lot, hand their animal off to them, and then they return them back, and they hand them off back to the owner. So, but we do have that there.
and we did coordinate the no-cost spay neuter grants with a local veterinarian too. We have a limited amount that we pay for citizens that can afford it.
So we got a grant to help the limited income people that can't afford it, want to pay it, but they just can't afford because they're on disability or something, to at least get their animal fixed so they're not having all these unwanted pets.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all for having us.
We're excited to see what your shelter looks like.
Yes.
I want you to know that if, this is a really exciting meeting, and I know you don't want to miss it, but if you need to slip out at any time, the sheriff will be watching though.
And me and Melissa are not kin, even though we are doppelgangers, we're not kin.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
See you there.
All right. Moving on, bid openings, none, awards and presentations, scheduled public hearings, consent agenda. Entertain a motion, I didn't look at it, was everything initial?
Yes.
Everything was initial, including the one that was,
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
any discussion? Mr. Hendricks makes a motion, Mr. Owens seconds it. All in favor saying aye. Consent agenda passes. Moving to new business. Mowing watershed property. Whereas a contract was received from RC and D for the mowing of watershed properties, whereas the cost to mow these properties is approximately $20,000 plus the cost of fuel for the 16 properties, whereas many of the subject properties are on private property, not owned by the commission, which raises concern over potential violations of Section 94 of the Alabama Constitution. Therefore, the Cleburne County Commission agreed or does not agree to fund the mowing of these properties. So when you make the resolution, I'm not going
Second.
to, and which motion, which way?
Do not.
Do not. Is, now, who seconded it? Mr. Cobb?
That's fine.
You agree with the do not, right?
That's it.
Yes, ma'am, that's why we're having
We did
discussion.
speak with Lee, and we spoke with the senator and all, I think there's still, or we're getting into this, but Lee did say the other day that it could go another year.
He told me that he spiritually went and visited some of the sites, and he says, yeah, he says it's mostly,
So, right now, the motion is, does not agree.
That's correct,
Yes.
but, I also talked to Jason and I talked to Mayfielder, and both of them agree that we don't need to do it.
Okay. All right, any other discussion?
And y'all know how, understand how the motion works. How it's reading, we're not agreeing to fund the mowing
I
this
don't
road.
think that we should mow private owned property.
Okay,
You know?
that's what you're agreeing to, vote on it.
Not mowing any of it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, all the stuff, I got some updates on the watershed. We need to do it now, you need to wait till the end of the meeting.
Let's wait toward the end, because you had a pretty extensive phone call, so
And I
I thought,
talked to several people.
okay. But I think we're ready to vote on this, right, when everybody's on the same page.
We good to vote for this then?
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor, saying aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. We will not fund. All right, new business, they're messed up, right? They're a little bit off. This should-
No.
Well, according to mine, it says A, water.
The letters are all.
Yeah, we didn't have a day, it just meant to be.
New business,
New business, this says item C, but it really should be B. Whereas the Cleburne County Sheriff requests that the Cleburne County Commission allow for a change in the Sheriff's Department organizational chart. Whereas the change would be to replace the position of the courthouse security with a courthouse deputy. Therefore, the Cleburne County Commission resolves to allow this change to the Sheriff's Department's organizational chart. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
You made the motion, you
Second.
second. Okay. Because you said aye. You ready to go?
Yeah. I've had 70 kids for 5 days, I'm ready to get out of it.
Any discussion?
Is this all we're gonna need for as the, budget? Or are you gonna need something else on the budget?
At some point in time, we may need to amend the budget, but my suggestion is that we wait until we hire, till we see. Because right now, it's really hard to anticipate how long it's gonna take to hire somebody.
So this is gonna change to a regular deputy.
Right.
So you think that'll make it easier for you, right?
We hope so. It actually will probably make the judges happier as well, because you'll have someone that's authorized to serve process at the courthouse when necessary, so it.
Well, that is a good idea. So they'd be, if they could serve a warrant with somebody walking in the door.
They could.
We get paid for serving them.
Yeah, you get paid all right. Bill.
Y'all ready to vote?
Yes.
All in favor saying aye? Aye. Motion carries. Whereas, should be C here, whereas the Cleburne County Sheriff requests that the Cleburne County Commission allow for a change in the jail organizational chart. Whereas the change would replace the part-time correction officer with a full-time correction officer that will be responsible for work release inmates working for the county commission. Therefore, the Cleburne County Commission resolves to allow the change to the Sheriff's Department organizational chart contingent on the work release program supervision being the primary duty of said position.
Motion. Second.
I think he got you. You second? Man, you are quick.
I'm all trying to do it.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay. We have 3 ayes, right? All right. Motion carries with 3 ayes, 3 yeses. And 1 opposed. Motion carries. All right. The next one would be D, whereas the Cleburne County Commission agrees that an animal shelter will provide public service for county residents by accepting stray and abandoned animals. And whereas the commission is aware of a volunteer group that is interested in the operation of an animal shelter. And whereas the Cleburne County Commission recognizes the need for a building for use by a volunteer group to house the animals. And therefore, the Cleburne County Commission agrees to earmark $200,000 in funds to come from the general fund for the building of an animal shelter.
Make a motion.
Mr. Owens had you first. Ms. you second. Ms. Cobb, discussion?
Just to elaborate on the agreement just with, do you think we ought to add in there that we're gonna, or since we just set the money aside, wait and then join in a memorandum of understanding with the city of Heflin.
I don't have a vote, but my personal opinion is you're putting the cart before the horse.
Okay.
Mr. Hendricks?
Okay, that was sort of the way I look at it. We don't have enough information, there's no agreements in place. We don't even know if it's gonna be county property or city property. And to me, I think we'd be better off to let the city do it and we contribute to the city, but that's my opinion. But I don't think we have enough information. And I think Mr. Owens has, Odom, I'm sorry, has sent out an email to all the county commissioners. And if they read that email, I don't see how we can do this. And if you don't mind, I'd like him to read it.
Oh, I don't guess that would, is there any problem?
If there's a request for me to read it, I'll read it.
Okay. I'm okay with you reading it.
The email states, thank you for sending the proposed bylaws for the 501c3 animal shelter group. As we discussed, in order for the commission to properly analyze the possibilities of working with such a group, the group should present a comprehensive proposal / plan of action setting forth how they intend to initiate, fund, and operate such a facility. They should set forth how they intend to lease any property owned by the county, including how the building will be insured, maintained, altered / improved, and what the payments to the county will be for such lease. They also need to set forth how they intend to indemnify the commission and hold it harmless from any and all liability related to the operation and actions of the facility, how they intend to comply with all requirements set forth by the Alabama State Board of Veterinary Medicine and the State Board of Health. How are they going to accept animals? Strays, owner surrenders, animal control officers. While it is possible for the commission to enact an animal control ordinance under the Limited Self-Governance Act, that is a detailed procedure that has to be taken up separately by the commission. How are they going to handle euthanasia when it is required? There is probably more that I'm forgetting as I type this. Bottom line is that I believe this needs to be a carefully thought through process. We can't just throw up a building and expect it to work for their needs. We should have a firm agreement in hand spelling out the rights and responsibilities of each party to the other. Once we have a definitive plan of action and they are involved with building planning, etc., then we can move forward with whatever construction will take place. I fully understand your passion for getting moving on this project, but animals, like children's welfare, are truly the third rail of local government politics. We need to make sure we have all the facts and details worked out right on the front end, rather than trying to fix mistakes in a poorly planned or executed plan. I look forward to your thoughts.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I think, we do need all these in place, but we also need to show the people that's trying to get which they're a week away from their 501c, the city of Heflin, we have got to show them that we're willing to step out there. We're not talking about going and spending the $200,000 right off the bat until we get these in place. We're just saying we want to earmark where they will know that we're serious about this. Somebody's got to make a step, so I'm asking that the commission make that step first.
Would it be,
I would like to call it to a vote.
Yes, ma'am. I asked you a question. Would it be earmarked for a period of time, or would it be?
I'd say it no longer than 3 or 4 months. But I think what is being said is if we know that we're on board, then as far as if we're going to do it with the city of Heflin or through whatever, we're not planning on just saying, here's $200,000 to get started. This is a good faith, that's what I think Laura's saying, it's a good faith that we're on board with. At first we wasn't even on board with anybody, but, as me and Roger rode down and listened to the mayor thinks it's a great deal, and he understands that this year will be controlled by a board for the whole county. So it won't be a municipality thing, other than, he didn't mind if he did the understanding with the 501c company if we choose to, we're worried about it.
So just looking at the resolution, it says agrees to earmark $200,000 in funds. So basically, you'd be just holding $200,000 in funds. Did you want to put any period of time on it, though?
6 months.
We'll put a 6 months period on it. We'll put a 6 months period on it.
Or you want to do that, amend the resolution for 6 months? You okay with that amendment?
Yes.
Okay. And you asked for it to be called to vote, right?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor saying aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, so we have 3 ayes. Motion carries. And finally, E was added to the amendment. I'm going to ask Mr. Odom if he would read that for us so that he can explain anything.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Whereas the opioid epidemic continues to impact communities in the United States, the state of Alabama, and Cleburne County, Alabama. Whereas Cleburne County has suffered harm and will continue to suffer harm as a result of the opioid epidemic. Whereas the state of Alabama and some Alabama local governments have filed lawsuits against opioid manufacturers, distributors, and retailers, further known as opioid litigation. Whereas the state of Alabama has entered into various settlement agreements and are likely to enter into additional agreements in the future, which include the claims for the state of Alabama's local governments. Whereas Cleburne County finds the terms of the current settlement agreements acceptable and in the best interest of the community, and anticipates the terms of the future settlement agreements to be similarly acceptable. Whereas the state of Alabama has prepared and presented settlement sign-on agreements to the local governments and Cleburne County finds the terms of the sign-on agreement acceptable and in the best interest of the community. Whereas the current and future settlement agreements and sign-on agreements will detail the allocation of settlement funds, which Cleburne County finds acceptable and in the best interest of the community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Cleburne County Commission, Section 1, that Cleburne County finds that participation in the various opioid settlements, settlement agreement, and sign-on agreement is in the best interest of Cleburne County and its citizens, because such a plan would ensure an effective structure for the commitment of settlement funds to abate and seek to resolve the opioid epidemic. Section 2, that Cleburne County hereby expresses its support for the settlement of various opioid claims and allocation and use of settlement funds as generally described in the settlement agreement and sign-on agreement. Section 3, that the Cleburne County Commission Chairman, hereafter referred to as Chairman, is hereby expressly authorized to execute the settlement sign-on agreements and is hereby authorized to execute any formal agreements necessary to implement the settlements and plan for the allocation and use of settlement funds. Section 4, that the Chairman is hereby expressly authorized to execute any formal agreement and related documents evidencing Cleburne County's agreement to the settlement of claims and litigation related to the opioid epidemic. Section 5, that the Chairman is authorized to take such other action as necessary and appropriate to effectuate Cleburne County's participation in any settlement related to the opioid epidemic. Section 6, this resolution is effective upon adoption, the welfare of Cleburne County, Alabama requiring it.
Make a motion.
Second.
And a second. Mr. Hill. Any discussion? All in favor saying aye. Motion carries.
And I have documents for you to sign.
Yes, sir. All right, reports from staff. Ms. Copeland.
Yes, sir, I don't have a lot this time, but I'm gonna hit a couple of things here. The sheriff department vehicle maintenance bid has been advertised. We will have a bid opening on February the 24th. That's this Friday for anybody who's interested. As of right now, we don't have any bids that have been turned in, so it may be sort of a moot point, but we will have opening that day if there are any. Also, we are receiving some of these opioid checks, and we've gotten a second one now from Janssen for about $63,000. So in the coming months, we'll talk about how that money can be spent, and it's kind of specific to each agreement that has in each settlement. So we'll work on that a little bit. And the only other thing is what we're going to do about the funding that we've received from private citizens to go toward the bridge. And Mr. Hendricks has done a little research on it and with some of the banks to see what kind of rates we could get if we put that money in a CD, because it's going to be a little while before the bridge project goes in place.
Okay.
So that was my last thing that I had.
Any other questions?
Do you have the figures that are in front of you for the payoff on the jail, which we found out not even really tied to the jail?
Well, it's not exactly tied to the jail anymore because it's been refunded over the years.
researched that with bond counsel about 4 years ago. And made that.
Yeah.
It's actually, right now, it's sitting with 405,000. And then, at June the 1st of 2023, it'll be 205 and then 210 the following year, and then it's done. It can actually be paid off as soon as June of 2023, but the actual payoff is, the rate we're going is 6/1 of 2024. Just remember the numbers off the top of my head.
6/1 of 24 pays off.
Yes. So about, what, 15 months from now, 15 months from now? So, we're not too far from having that done.
And what is the payment on that?
It's divided up across the, every month, it's at 17,000 and some, and most of it comes out of capital improvement. And I know each year, up to about April or so, we usually have to move some money from our reserve account for a little while to kind of cover until we get another capital improvement check, so.
The commission voted on that right before I came into office to start all that, so. Pretty odd, isn't it? 20 something.
I know it's changed a couple times.
Yeah.
You know, when I start to look at something that I have not really delved into, I have to go back as far as when it kind of started to see how much it was to begin with and see when it's been refunded to get to that point.
I think there was opportunities to lower the interest rate a couple times, save some money.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, the fund, it started out with the funding of the jail at a $30 court fee. And then they come back because, you know, we had to do to run another jail with all the extra personnel. That's when they did the countywide 1 cent sales tax to fund the running of the jail. And then I think they liked about another 30,000 to make enough money off the $30 court fee to make the payment. So it sort of, the 1 cent sales tax sort of went into finished paying the payment of the jail. And then the 1 cent sales tax was for the running of the inside of the jail. Not the deputy, but just running inside the jail. Just the way it read, that I read.
All right, do you know offhand what the rate is right now? Which I know it's better than what you could get it now for, but I was
It's
curious.
3 something, I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head, but I did see it in the paperwork. It was 3 point, I want to say it was like 326 or something. It was a little bit of an odd number, but pretty low.
I think it brought it in when they hit and Steve did that refinancing, it brought it down to where the money on the $30 court fee was making the payments. And just for a few years it wouldn't.
They got redid when Crawford was still here.
Yeah.
He's the one that did it.
Yeah.
All right, Lee is a cheerleading competition, I think.
I want video.
You want video?
He got his phone on, and I'm proud of him. He's got the kick.
Hey, he was a cheerleader in college.
Yeah.
He got a full ride as a cheerleader.
Yeah. He liked it. He's into it. Got more paint on and all. Hope he shaves.
We know he's a good sport, and he can take it, right?
Yeah.
You give him a hard time on it next time you see him.
I just want to see the trophy.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure he bought his uniform for my stepdaughter, because she works for varsity sports.
Ah.
A lot of material to cover that up.
You have anything to show?
Other than the opioid, and Lisa's already addressed the checks that have come in, nothing further.
And I'll sign those documents. Yes, ma'am.
And Jason, we signed off on the resolution 13 that attaches you to the settlement government. We talked with Randy about it while he was here, and he feels good about our with us.
We added that amendment also, y'all give me on the animal shelter, which is going to be there. Discussion items by chairman and commissioners. I know, Mr. Hendricks, you had one issue, you made a phone call.
I was sort of gonna bring everybody up with what I know about the watersheds. Everybody got this letter from Vernon Avenue. It's been over an hour on the phone with him today. and he's adamant that we own the dams and that we've got easements. But when I asked for him to provide that information in a written form, he refused. So our Representative Rogers is still working with the USDA in Washington, so his assistant also told me that they haven't got any answer on that from him. And back to this conversation I had with this Mr. Abner, I don't know how to explain it. He said we own the dams, and we have an easement, which he won't put in writing and give to us. And he also said that we have no responsibility on the ones in the forest owned by the federal government, but he won't put that in writing either. I asked for a meeting, and he said, fine, he would be glad to come down here with a meeting. And I said, okay, with a couple of commissioners, our attorney, and an engineer. He said, oh no, I won't meet with an attorney. So, this guy's useless, but he's sending us letters, pretty much threatening us, you know.
But you're saying now, what he's saying is the ones on the national forest, we're not responsible, like Sweetwater Lake.
That's what he said, but he
Well,
won't.
that's a good start.
Not really, because he won't put nothing in writing. He'll talk to you on the phone, but that's about it.
Because what I'm saying is, he's telling me, we can't spend county funds on private property anyway.
That's what I,
So, I mean, that's a new point right there in itself, we don't have the easement, he's gonna show us.
well, see, that's,
But I'm not the judge, it's a jury.
I'm just telling you what he said. And he says he's got paperwork, and I asked him to provide it. And he asked for my email address, and whether he sent it to me, I have no idea, because he was so wishy-washy. But he wanted to talk about Arkansas, which I don't really give a damn about Arkansas, you know. And I told him that. And he said, y'all don't have any laws in Alabama. I said, well, good. If we don't have any laws, I'll just bring it up for a vote, and we'll just cut a hole in the dam and be done with it. Oh, no, you can't do that. You own them. But y'all don't have any laws about downstream liability. So if we don't have any liability, then let's just do away with it. Oh, you can't do that. I said, well, provide me some paperwork saying we can't do that. Oh, I'm not gonna put anything around. I mean, I talked to this guy for over an hour, and that's what I was getting, you know. And he says he's gonna come meet with us if the supervisor will allow him. So I don't hold my breath, but as y'all all seen in this letter, though, the letter says we're owners. He can't produce nothing saying we're owners, and I ain't seen anything that says we're owners. Neither has the ACCA, neither has Jason.
What is that dam down there, is that called Booker Dam, what's that? I know, but what I'm saying about that one down there, the National Forest wouldn't take that property, and it was like 40 or 80 acres. You remember that? And me and my brother went in there, and that's what we did. Well, then we cut it open, so it wouldn't hold back any water. And I mean, it would have been a beautiful lake. And that's what, one of the questions I had to leave before we went down there, is there any flood that might damage something down from that dam? So I guess
Inspection.
that it's okay for them, what I'm saying, it's okay for them to tear the dam down, it's not okay for us to tear it down.
The only other thing I'll throw out there, he says he's gonna send me some materials, but if he don't, is it all right with y'all if I get Lisa to do a request? And request all the information they have on Cleburne County watersheds? Is that all right with everybody?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we went to the meeting, or I went to the meeting, about 2 years ago in Oxford, you know, and
Nobody showed up?
well, that was the second meeting. The first one I went to, you know, they're like, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, but nobody put nothing in writing. Then the second meeting we went to, nobody even showed up except us. You know, I talked to Mike Rogers, talked to this guy, the ACCA is involved. We have about 5 counties that surround us, it's all looking to see what happens to us. I have talked to some more commissioners and engineers and stuff, and they say, we waiting on y'all. We waiting on the report, what they wanna do to y'all or not do to y'all, and then we're gonna do something. So,
And hanging the shields right now.
some of them are and some of them not. So,
If I may, I'm dealing with this same issue for Randolph County. dealing with Crystal Lake and water. And the interesting wrinkle there is the USDA is telling Randolph County that they have to maintain it, but the deed records show that the Roanoke Water Board owns it. So the county actually sued the water board in a declaratory judgment action to get a final determination. That is just about to be resolved. I'm working on preparing a final quitclaim deed to the water board that will transfer all ownership and all liability to the water board. Because one of the things that came up during that litigation, I said the same thing Commissioner Hendricks just said, that the lake that the city of Roanoke uses as their primary reservoir, if the county owns it and you expect us to own it and maintain it, we're taking the dam out and we're draining it. And that caused a bit of a shift because that's where they get all the water from. But Randolph County's having the same issues. There's a couple of other watersheds that they're having to deal with as well. I would ask the tasking that y'all just made to Lisa, if that needs to happen, I would suggest that the letter be countersigned by both your administrator and the county attorney, if y'all are fine with that.
Yeah.
That would help back her up.
I would like you to help her draft it.
No, and certainly will.
Okay. But, and it sort of sounds like to me, from all the people I've talked to, I mean, this is about the fifth or sixth guy I've talked to, and ladies, some of them are ladies, but they all want us to do something, but they don't have nothing to back it up to make us do it. So why are we wasting taxpayer dollars to do this stuff? And just like Jason just said, I mean, it ain't in our interest, just let the water go, you know? I mean, at some point, we gotta do something that somebody's gonna make a judgment. Whether it's we sue somebody, they sue us, I mean, it may be what it takes, I don't know, because nobody's willing, I mean, just like, so far, the USDA won't even put nothing in an email and send it to you. They'll talk to you on the phone, but they're not gonna send you nothing that you can print out. And I don't know that the next time I talk to them that I don't record it. Of course, it hasn't been good, but, you know. Anyway, I just wanted to update everybody on that. And if, I don't know if we need a resolution on your money or not, if you wanna do that.
On the tank?
On the CD.
Oh, I don't think we will, if we just put it in a CD, did we?
I don't know, I just,
If you want to, I mean, do we know where we're looking at the CD? Is that?
Yeah, she's got it all set up, but I thought it was just being able to.
She is administrator, does she not have the authority to
She
do that?
does.
Okay.
that's all I need.
March the 16th and 17th, Commissioner Owens has arranged it so that we can have a drop ceiling put in the probate office, so we won't have to, basically, not be in the office, but the girls are still gonna work, especially on a Thursday.
What are they gonna look at?
We're gonna clean up the record room, work on the record room.
Well, you might want to go down, we'll meet you down there, maybe go down and check out your little storage room, get it squared over. We got all that done. I think it's turned out really great.
Appreciate that. I really do
That
appreciate
ceiling
it.
grid work is dangerous.
So the office will be closed.
The office will be closed the 16th and 17th, but my staff will be working. Also, on the 16th, April Brown, my chief clerk, is retiring. She's retiring on the 31st. We're gonna have an event for her up here at the Mountain Center at 3. If y'all put that on the calendar and come by and say hello. Or,
The 3 of next month? Third of next?
16th at 3.
Oh, 16th to 3.
she came in and she will have 28 years on March the 31st. And
If you would apologize to her, because I'm gonna be out of town that day, but I'll try to send her an email.
appreciate that. Just, I wanted her to finish up with me, but she had got to a point where she felt like she had some family importance things that she felt more called to do, and so she's leaving on good terms, and we appreciate her. She's also going to be, she's very knowledgeable about elections, and so she said that she would be there to help us if we need her. So that's very helpful.
She'd be a poll worker, can't she?
Yeah. But she's very knowledgeable on a lot of things, you know, and of course there's, you forget institutional knowledge is so important. But that happens from time to time, and so, but, Lori Gerald's is going to take her place, and so that'll be an easy transition for me. She's got a working knowledge, and she's gonna step up and be the chief clerk. And I also hired, we had advertised and taken applications, and Miss Kayla Thompson in my office was the best candidate, and she's going to be taking the recording clerk job. And so I'll be, we are advertising now and taking applications for a new tab clerk also. So just kind of keeping y'all up to date on that. Any other?
Are we leaving applications out when people come by to pick up for these jobs?
If they are not out there when they ring, if Emily's not here, I'll grab applications for them, but she does have them in her office as well, but we do keep them out on the counter too.
All right. All in,
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
all in favor say aye.